So,
So, yeah,
Anita,
yeah.
what are we talking about today?
Something came up with one of my friends recently.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, and she's married, and I thought we had a great conversation, and I learned a lot about a lot of the feedback and the issues that she's going through.
Hey.
And it's all around physical chemistry in a relationship and why it's imperative and why it's important.
So
Can't live
important.
without it. So stay tuned because I'd like to tell you more about it. MelodicMic, do you think physical chemistry, how important is it in a relationship?
Very.
Okay.
I think it's very important to have chemistry. It's something to build upon also. I mean, you have the old saying of, hey, was it physical attraction gets you there, personality keeps you
Right.
there. But then there's this innate chemistry that you just have with someone. You could be laughing about nothing. You could be not talking, but the chemistry, you could just be sitting next to each other and the chemistry is there. It's raw,
Yeah.
it's real. And you can just feel this not sexual tension, but just this thing inside that both of you guys have this chemistry towards each other.
It's really important.
I think
I think chemistry is really important.
So important.
I completely agree with you. I've worked with couples through coaching.
Okay.
And there have been issues that have been shared where physical chemistry moves into a different phase of life. And in some couples, it becomes almost non-existent. So even if you share you share your children, you share your finances, you share a legal and binding marriage and a commitment to to one another. Once the physical chemistry goes into a different direction, it has wreaked havoc on a lot of my clients. So I think it's a really important topic.
So you got to figure out what really can spruce things up in your relationship.
Yes.
Which makes sense because you know what? When you date someone or you're married to someone, I've heard this over and over again for a long period of time. Life takes over. You have kids, like you said.
Yes.
Work.
They have responsibilities.
And you tend to not think about your relationship.
Or rearrange your priorities in your relationship.
Right.
Because sometimes it's not always natural. We have to put a lot of work into these healthy relationships.
Work.
That's why they're healthy. But, meeting only the emotional, the financial, may not be enough.
Right.
There is a trigger of loneliness that transpires when physical needs are not met in any relationship.
That's a lonely feeling to be in a
It can
committed
be.
relationship and you don't have that spark
Definitely.
anymore.
And one thing that can really come tumbling down is a poor sex life.
Ooh.
So poor sex can lead to very poor physical intimacy, and that can lead to what? Resentment. Blame, affairs. We've talked about this. And most importantly, respect.
Respect. Yeah.
And I never realized that for so many individuals, to have a healthy relationship, sexual intimacy's got to be kind of first on the list.
Oh my
Or in
gosh,
your
yes.
top 5.
You have to be open, communication,
Yes.
your needs, your desires, all has to be on the table. If
Yes.
you're lacking in something, that's the only way you're going to build that back up, right?
I completely agree. You've got to find a balance to make a balance.
Yes.
And without the chemistry that's so important in your most imperative relationship, maybe you're just really friends. So really something to think about and something to work on if that really is an issue in your relationship. What about first dates? I mean, we talked about, relationships and assuming that they're all about marriages or long-lasting partnerships, but that's not always the case. When you're on a first date and it's leading to subsequent dates, and maybe you have discussions about this. I know full well that now it's very acceptable to talk about your needs when you meet somebody. What are you looking for in your relationship? Well, I'm looking for the emotional compatibility. I'm looking for someone like-mindedness, similar life goals, right? Values, and good physical intimacy. And it's okay to talk about it, which I think is great, which I think is really great. But if you get some of those answers, it may be worth exploring.
Well, do you think it's too soon to talk about them the first date?
Maybe the first date.
Okay.
But maybe high level. Sometimes it's the way you present the information or the question. But getting to talk about it and breaking the faux pas and the taboo at any level of any relationship is really key. And that's why it's really important to really bring up.
I think over time, if you're dating and you're in the dating scene, getting to know the person, seeing that chemistry of just your personalities, even physical attractiveness towards one another, eventually you'll have that conversation. It'll come out naturally. You don't really have to think about it. But the way you put it about physical intimacy, what's your desires and what you need and stuff
Or
like
how
that.
important is it to you?
Correct.
You know, I think as a friend or even as a stranger, there's nothing wrong with saying, how does it rank in your and what you're looking for?
Yeah, and if it doesn't match, ooh, that might be a problem.
It might be a red flag. It may not be.
Right.
And then how do you tackle it that when you are in a full-blown relationship and everything else is pretty healthy, but that one piece is absent? Why? And what do you really need to do to really ignite that so you can get back to where you left off?
Hey, men, you see this shirt? I wore it to remind you. Yes, you got to be that beast. Make sure you turn it on.
Sometimes it's as simple as that. Sometimes it's a lot more harder than that. But whatever it is, it's got to be tackled together.
Yes.
Not independently, together.
Absolutely.
So make a note of that. We hope that helps. We appreciate you watching. I'm Anita Kay.
I'm MelodicMic.
Thanks for watching The Mac Show.
Beast mode.